Recognized for 5 minutes.
I thank my friend John Lewis for yielding. I thank John Lewis for his service to our country, to its principles, to its values, to its people. I thank John Lewis for being my friend. And I thank John Lewis for allowing me for the 9th time to walk with him across that bridge. And as I do, I will be holding the hand of John Lewis and holding in my other hand the hand of my 10-year-old granddaughter, Alexa. This coming week marks the 47th anniversary of the fateful Bloody Sunday March for voting rights. I want to say to Dan Lundgren, my friend, I thank him for the remarks he just gave. They were heartfelt and on target. The letter from the Birmingham jail to which he referred is certainly one of the great epistles, as he referred to it, to the American people, to people of conscience, to the fierce urgency of now, which he referenced in that letter. On March 7, 1965, our friend and esteemed colleague from Georgia, John Lewis, was among the leaders of that march. It says he was he was the leader. He and Hosea Williams. 2 by 2 they walked, some 600, with John and Hosea at the front of the line. That day, in an extraordinary practice of nonviolence, he and other marchers were brutally beaten while trying to cross the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama. They were on their way to Montgomery, the state capital, to protest the murder of a young man, Jimmy Lee Jackson, who had been shot and killed while protecting his mother during a voting rights rally. And they were marching to Montgomery to say, in a nonviolent way, every American deserves the right to be able to register and to vote. Every moment has its darkest hours when the exuberance of hope yields to the reality of difficult and painful struggle. Selma brought that reality into homes across the country. News of that bloody Sunday awakened millions of Americans to the horrors of Jim Crow. It opened their eyes to the injustice that had cut off so many of our people from participation in their government. It made clear that while we said in our Declaration of Independence that we believed in equality, that we believed that all men, and hopefully we would now say, of course, all women, all people, are endowed by God with certain unalienable rights. We were not doing that in this country. That's what that epistle from Birmingham jail was about. That's what this march was about. That march led to another march 2 weeks later that could not be stopped, one that saw 8,000 Americans from a diversity of backgrounds join together in solidarity and with a faith the enduring promise of America provided. John Lewis, our colleague, our friend, our brother, was one of the compelling figures of that time and of this. I've been blessed with the privilege of traveling to Selma, as I said, 9 times with John Lewis, to worshiping in Terry's church. The visit this weekend will be, I know, another instructive lesson for me and for others of how we need to be continually aware of the discrimination and prejudice that exists today, the attempts at exclusion that exist today. Frankly, the attempts to not empower people to vote even today. What happened at Selma 47 years ago ought to be remembered as a moment when America chose to fight hatred with love and put faith in the values of our Constitution. In his memoir, which I hope all of you have read, Walking with the Wind, John Lewis explains, and I quote, "If you want to create an open society, your means of doing so must also be consistent with the society you want to create. Violence, he said, begets violence. Hatred begets hatred. Anger begets anger. Every minute of the day, in the smallest of moments, as well as the largest. I have an additional 30 seconds. I thank the gentleman.
So granted.
Ladies and gentlemen, we remember the difficult path we trod as a nation to ensure the participation of all, and we ought to do everything we can to preserve it in our own day. It is not just history that we want to learn. It is the lesson for today that we must remember and learn. I thank John Lewis for his leadership. I thank the thousands, black and white, young and old, rich and poor, who joined together to make America a better place. And I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman from California.